So I just want to say welcome here. If you don't mind, we'll get started. I went through the name tags last night when I was doing them. I always do name tags after midnight, and I always get a DM from someone after midnight saying, "Can I come?" And it never failed. I got one last night. And when I went through the names, there's so many friendly faces, and I thought, wow, talking this morning will be fine, because I know so many people, and I swear it's not. So, good morning. Thank you for coming on another wintry day, another wintry spring day. We've been thinking about this one for a long time, and we're very excited about it. And for those of you that may be in the room that have not attended one of these before, they are not all like this. We're very high octane today. I, for one, am never that way. And but we're glad that we could all be here. My name is Donna McTaggart, Donna McT on Twitter. It's my pleasure to be a part of organizing this event. And one of the things that I did in prep for today, because it was our 50th, is I actually made a grid for myself of every event that we've done since number one. Who spoke, where we attended, who the sponsor was. And for me, oh my gosh, it was quite a trip down memory lane. And it was a recognition of how many relationships I've built with people that have stemmed from not only this event, but primarily this event. I attended the first one purely by fluke. Camilla De Giuseppe, the 11:30 Anchor News on CTV, posted on Facebook. And at that time on Facebook, I wasn't always going on every week. And I just happened to be sitting in front of my computer. I saw, and she posted that she was attending this event. I clicked through it, I RSVP'd, and there was only 20 spaces. So the first thing I did was send a note to my friend Rose, who is here today, and I'm so grateful, to say, please come with me, because I don't know anybody and I don't want to go by myself. And so she came with me, and we met Scott that morning, and it's led quite a journey. We met, the camp spoke at the second one, and I'll never forget, both of those were at Eau Claire, and she was talking about George Bush Jr. had been in town, and she used social media to try and find his black cars. And so we participated in this whole thing. Everybody's trying to find, where can we find the black cars? And so that was the subject of her conversation. It was really interesting. Another person that I met at the second one was Troy Wasson, and he's taken me down a lot of journeys, that gentleman has. One of them is politics. I will never go down that road again. I bless the hearts of the people that do. We moved from Eau Claire to Cardell. And I know, is there somebody in the room from Cardell today? Somebody registered. It's so great of you guys to come. So we went to Cardell for a couple. And I remember that back then, and I think it's different now, I'm pretty sure it is, I've been to a few events there, but back then, my BlackBerry did not get service in your theater. And oh my gosh, to sit in that room for an hour and not have service it's some sort of punishment. Like, that's what you do to punish people. And Roger, I met Roger there. Roger came today, and I'm so grateful. Roger spoke. I think it was at Cardell you spoke, Roger. And then we moved to Jamin. Met a bunch of people through Jamin. We actually met at Jamin quite often. And Chet is, I don't think she's arrived yet. I thought she was coming today. She's the only one of our speakers throughout this entire thing that's actually been at this podium 4 times, each time on a different subject, and we've learned a lot from her. Greg Hounslow came to Jamin and talked when he was first starting to get social media up and going in WestJet, and he talked a lot about the challenges he had there. The most memorable one for me, and I've mentioned it to a few people this morning already, that Tony Reno came and he gave a presentation, and there was somebody else in the room, and Mike Spear was on our committee for a long time. Mike and Tony come from different worlds. The topic of conversation was one where they totally did not agree. And it was the first time we'd ever had a very electric conversation, but it gave us this, it's addicting to have, to be in a conversation like that. You don't always learn when you are preaching to the choir, right? It's those dissents where you actually, it pushes your way of thinking. And so I was thinking about it, and I sent Tony a note, and I'm so grateful that Tony came today. So.
My opinion won that day, by the way.
Of course. we did another. We had another feisty one that I shouldn't say feisty, but another one where people didn't exactly agree, and it was Justin Robinson wanted to. I talked to him about showcasing his energy convo project, which is really interesting. And we did it at the Crystal Ballroom at the Palliser Hotel. They were generous enough to host us there, and Laurie Stewart was the moderator. And another one where people on the panel just didn't agree, and that kind of conversation was it was quite interesting. After we went to Jamin, it was Doug Lacombe through his Third Tuesday group that actually met Tony from Melrose. It wasn't me, it was Doug. And Doug came to me and said, I'm going to hold a Third Tuesday group there, and I think you're going to like the space. And oh my gosh, I think for those of you, many of you in the room have participated in probably many groups that have met at Melrose over the years. They've been quite an icon in the meeting space for us, and that's one space that we're sorry to see go. Tony was going to be here today and couldn't, but he certainly, we've learned a lot from Tony, and really grateful to him. MRU was another place that we went a bunch of times. They held their social media conference. They came to our social media breakfast to meet people that they might put on their advisory committee, and so we enjoyed doing that too. We've had some memorable events. August 2011 is one that people will never let me forget. I had this great idea that on an August morning, meeting at the Calgary Vipers Club, the Ball Diamond would be like, it's a summer morning, and how cool would it be to be out at the Ball Diamond? And it was like, I don't know, minus something in August. I was surprised how many people have sleeping bags in their cars, and they brought them out. Vipers brought out a bunch of jackets, a bunch of people left, but Kyle Schufeld talked, and he told his story. And for those that stayed, it was incredible, really interesting story. But after that, they made me promise that I would never, it wasn't outdoor, but the tent didn't have like all sides all the way to the bottom. They made me promise I'd never do an outdoor one again. Loose Moose Theatre, venue 1008. We've met there. Calgary Herald, Sean's here today. They were generous enough to host us, and one of our sponsors, Market Wired, did a presentation that day, and they talked about, who remembers the ski hill? Who was the ski hill that fired all the people, all the staff? Sunshine. Okay, so we did a case study and brought in the person that was boots on the ground for that event, and that was very interesting. So this happens to me a lot. It was May 2012, and we have to send out the press release, and I have no idea where we're going to meet. And so I need a venue. So I got in my car and thought, okay, well, I think South McLeod, somewhere down McLeod Trail would be a good place to have one. So where should we go? And I passed Kingsland Farmers Market, and it just seemed like such a right thing, and they bit right away. They were excited, and so we've met there a bunch of times. And October in 2012 was another one where I had Zed's the comic communications were coming. I had a sponsor, no venue. And I went on Twitter and I'm like, okay, who do I see on here that I might ask, right? And I came across Worst, didn't know them. Sent them a note and said, can you please follow me because I want to ask you a question? And within an hour we had our information for the press release, and that was the first time we went to Worst. And Worst, we went there last month. For those of you that weren't here, they were really bad hit by the flood. We were really excited that they came back, and it was really and energizing. Anybody who was there last time, this is a tough act to follow, let me tell you. Andrew Fung is an improv guy that had his entire speech presentation was going to be a video, and half an hour before we found out we didn't have a cable that went from the computer to the speakers, so no video, and his entire presentation was based on that. So we literally went into a corner for 5 minutes, and he came out and wowed us. It was impressive. Canada Sports Hall of Fame, that was another one. Does anybody remember? We had two speakers that day, Janet Doyle and Cara, but Janet brought an athlete with her. Does anybody remember who it was? Yeah. It was Jan Hudick, who just won the bronze medal at the Olympics. That was really interesting that we got to meet him. We've had so many amazing experiences. Sean talked to us at Headspace. I know, we've just had so many. So that I could go on and on. There's more people in the room that I should be mentioning. I wanted to highlight a few. I'm sorry that I couldn't mention everyone. But if you, I had a few slides running between 8:30 and 9 that had logos for all the people that have sponsored venue or breakfast, and all the topics that we've done and all the speakers that we've had. So I hope you got a chance to see that. So I guess that from the very first one, what we've still tried to do is I sat in the room and listened to Scott, and I was mesmerized from the first moment that he was, his idea was to build a community, not a closed community. It was build a space where people could come and get together and just have a conversation, and hopefully that conversation would go out into the community and would build relationships. I know for me that has certainly been what's happened, and I hope that those of you that keep coming back and that have visited us, that you feel the same way. You can actually probably go about 3 slides now, so I sort of forgot. Okay, yeah, stop there. So it's amazing how a 2 or 3 hour event really takes a lot of minds and hands and resources. And so we have a great team of people that spend time every month, and between the Twitter wall, the presentation, the press release, getting the equipment in the room, and et cetera, et cetera. It takes a lot of people. And actually, I just like to recognize them and say thank you. So I think they deserve a round of applause. We have a few ongoing. Okay, yeah, we'll go past this one. So these are just a few of the sponsors I usually talk about. Marketwire Matrix in Calgary, video creator, are long-time sponsors. And they're generous with their time and resources every month, and we're grateful for that. I can't do this without sponsors, so we keep this event free. We look for, we typically look for a sponsor to pay for the breakfast and the coffee, the food and the beverage, and the venues are free, and so we keep the event free. So we're really grateful for the sponsors that we have, and we're excited. Next one to that. Corey works with, did you go back one? Maybe I forgot to put it in. Oh, sorry, Corey. I really did make a slide for you. Tweetwall. So is this the second time or the third time that we've done Tweetwall? Second? Okay, so we're really hoping that we can continue this on an ongoing basis. And so Corey, I don't know what I did.
It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, I thought so too, but anyways, so we're really appreciative that Corey's able to make the commitment to help us with that. So that brings us to today. And this was an idea. Now, first of all, I'll tell you that I've been wanting to do something related to cars for a long time, only because technology blows my mind. And I'm into it, and Dan from Mac on 4, together with some other people, are here on a regular basis from that industry supporting, and I just thought it'd be cool to do something with it, but we needed a topic, and it's taken us some time. When we finally decided that we were going to do this, it just seemed so perfect that we should, this might be a place, and I approached them through social media again, which so often I sit in the middle of the night and think, who can I send a message to that might respond? And they, and I went onto their website. I couldn't believe it that it was their 50th year. I actually did not know that, and so I was so grateful for when they read my pitch and they contacted me and said they thought it was a great idea, and they were willing to host us. So, Sandra, if you want to make your way here, I will be happy to have you talk about Heritage Park. Yes, sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean to make that sound mysterious. It really was fun.
Is there Wi-Fi?
Oh, is there Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
What's the password?
Okay, so my oversight that I didn't actually put a password somewhere. Do we know the password?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll get it for you. Okay. Yeah, no worries. I think I can handle that. The password is guest. So look for AP guest, I think, is the user.
Rejected.
We're going back to the past.
Every time I like speak to myself to see what's over there, always
I'm just gonna reboot the computer and see if it helps.
All right, everybody. While we're waiting for this to get up and going, in case you haven't found them, I just thought I'd give you some directions at Heritage Park. The washrooms are just down the stairs over there. And so if you need to take a break while we're trying to get technology working, this is a good opportunity.
Excuse me, okay, just a heads up that one of the ideas we had, and we reached out to sponsors, etc., and they graciously donated some prizes. So we actually have door prizes today. Now, can somebody tell me what the status of the tickets are? Have we actually given any out yet? Okay, so if you actually want to, we'll grab a couple people and just make sure that everybody gets a ticket. And while they're doing that, I'm just going to, thanks, Catherine. I'll just let you know while we're rebooting the computer, it's perfect time to just let you know some of the prizes that we've actually got. We did a Twitter contest and asked people to retweet a phrase. That's all you had to do. And it was just showcasing the cars of the big and small screen, an exhibit that's here that you're going to hear all about. And but it was just retweeting that thing. If you guys can go to SMB right now, if you could go to their feed and find that tweet and still retweet it. We actually haven't calibrated everybody that has retweeted that yet. So later today we're going to be doing that, and we will announce on Twitter who won 2 tickets to that event, and I believe that's part of your presentation, right? Speaking about it, so I'll just tell you that's 2 tickets. Melrose has donated a prize. It's not here. Whoever wins that prize will actually either get it from me or Tony. We'll figure that out. CI2 Group is an organization that has sponsored. A couple of the guys are here today. Keith, Sean, somewhere. Yeah. Oh, there you are, guys. They've generously donated a pack that's going to be on the. It's a $50 gift certificate for Canadian Tire, right? Carpet Tire, and in Alberta, the flood package that I really like. There's a gift certificate for Moxie's for $25. Now Andrew Fung, who is an improv actor, is actually dressed up with Loose Moose, and he's given us 3 separate sets of 2 tickets for the Oh, Past Your Bedtime with Andrew and Renee is what it's called. And so there's 3 sets of that. There's a $50 gift certificate towards Couture by Laura. So ladies, if you know who that is. There is a gift certificate from Tutti Frutti. There is some Beer Fest glasses. And Sean from Post Media, we know it as Calgary Herald, but they're now officially Post Media, has generously donated 2 jackets. I actually haven't seen them, but I saw him walk in with them. So he's got 2 jackets. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to, are people giving out tickets out? As soon as everybody's got a ticket, what we're going to do is we're going to draw numbers, and you get a number. We're not doing it for any particular prize. Go to the table and pick one, and we'll just keep doing that until the prizes are gone. Okay, so as soon as everybody has a ticket, we will proceed with Heritage Park presentation. Thanks.
All right, take 2. Love it. So, does everybody have a ticket? We're just about done. Okay. Good morning. I'm going to just get started here. I'm sorry about that technology delay. We did test this extensively yesterday and it worked fine, but as you know, life throws you curveballs. So, good morning. I want to let you know that my name is Sandra Cam. I'm the manager of marketing here at Heritage Park Historical Village. And I'd like to welcome you to Gasoline Alley Museum and thank you for joining us at the 50th Social Media Breakfast. Today we encourage you to share your thoughts and memories of Heritage Park using the hashtag HP50YYC. Since July 1st, 1964, Heritage Park has been connecting people with the settlement of Western Canada. As a living history museum, visitors are immersed in the daily life and activities from over 100 years ago. They can paddle with voyagers in the... Oh, now it's not going. There we go. You can paddle like a voyager in the Hudson's Bay fur trading fort, or learn how to cook a meal on a wood-burning stove. You can ride the rails on an authentic thundering steam train, or cook bannock over an open fire in a teepee. Some of you have grown up with the park, coming here as a child with your school or your family, or as an adult, perhaps you've attended a party or a meeting, or even said, I do, amongst the historical buildings and gardens. Now you bring your children, or you come on your own just to enjoy the peaceful tranquility offered on a quiet summer's day. Heritage Park is many things to many people. Millions of visitors from all over the world have passed through these gates, discovering how the West was once. On July 1st, there's our sumo wrestlers. On July 1st, 1964, Heritage Park opened its doors to the public for the very first time. Visitors could explore 12 exhibits and ride our authentic steam train. Over the years, the park has grown significantly, and now, in 2014, the celebration of our 50th anniversary, Heritage Park Historical Village is in a... Oh. Jackie, could you come up and just do it manually for me, please? Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe it's all the people in the way. Heritage Park has expanded. Heritage Park is an accredited museum, a world-class tourist attraction, educational banquet facility, and Canada's largest living history experience. The park has expanded to 127 acres and houses over 50,000 artifacts and 180 buildings and structures. That's a long way since 12 buildings in 1964. We've come a very long way in 50 years, and we are marking this major milestone with a year-long celebration. I'm delighted to be here this morning to share with you some of the exciting new exhibits we have at Heritage Park. They've traveled back in time, They've crossed finish lines and chased bad guys. They've stolen the show with their colorful personalities and memorable action scenes. And now we're about to introduce to you some of the biggest stars in Hollywood, with Heritage Park kicking off our 50th anniversary with Cars of the Big and Small Screen. A nod to pop culture and our love affair with the automobile. The exhibit features some of the iconic cars from television and movies. And the exhibit features 10 vehicles, some which actually appeared in the movies, and while others were reproduced painstakingly to exact detail. And it's only here until April 21st. Special programming that surrounds this exhibit includes our dinner and a movie series, which include a themed dinner in the Selkirk Grill restaurant, followed by a tour of the Cars of the Big and Small Screen, and of course, watching a historic movie in our grand exhibit hall. Upcoming movies include Ferris Bueller's Day Off on April 1st, or American Graffiti on April 15th. As social media breakfast attendees, I assume you are all familiar with this because this was part of our great tweets for our contest today. On June 20th, the famous Five Centre of Canadian Women will open, the first of its kind in Canada. Nellie McClung, Emily Murphy, Irene Paulry, Louise McKinney, and Henrietta Muir-Edwards campaigned for the right of women to be recognized as persons. When the Supreme Court of Canada ruled against them, this group took their appeal to the Privy Council in Britain and won the right to be called persons in 1929. The park is excited about sharing this story of these 5 famous ladies who bravely fought for the rights of women and children and paved the way for future generations. On July 1st, 2014, you are all invited back here for our big birthday bash, and of course Dominion Day, with a huge amount of activities and special challenges. New this year, we have the Heritage Quest Challenge, where pre-registered teams compete in a series of physical, mental, and skill-based challenges reliving how the West was once. The park is also staying open late that night, and the evening fireworks will be the candles on our cake. Join us on Heritage Day. We're having a special evening ticketed event. Guests will enjoy a magical summer outdoor musical festival with headliner Holly Cole and guest Sarah Sleen and the Stellas. Tickets will be going on sale soon. On August 9th, we will have Up Close and Personal, a live Western rodeo in our very own rodeo grounds. On August 14th, the park will unveil our second exhibit of 2014, the River Forth Dining Car. Originally a 1929 luxury solarium lounge car, the River Forth was donated to the park and is now being painstakingly refurbished into a luxury rail dining car from the 1920s. Guests will be able to enjoy a historically inspired lunch or dinner while circling our 1 mile of track. Finally, this year, the park is making itself more accessible and affordable with the introduction of a value-priced all-inclusive admission. No more ride tickets, no more ride bracelets. Once you're through the gates, everything in the park is yours to explore. As we celebrate our 50th anniversary in 2014, we are reminded of why Heritage Park is built.
I think we need to go back to. No, we need to go back. No, back again.
Oh well. How did that happen? I didn't press the
Back.
button.
I did it.
What are you doing?
I messed it up.
Jackie
I'm
messed
so
it up.
sorry. Oh, our sound's not working.
Dave, we got no sound. Oh well, I was trying to end on a good video. It'd be exciting. Pardon me?
No, it's not.
I know, but when we test it from the Mac, it screws up the sound.
Oh well. I have to say, it was very interesting when I was greeting some people coming in this morning. I asked a lot of people if they've been here, and a lot of people said, wow, I haven't been here before. And, or it's a little different than the last time I remember. So we did this $65 million expansion in 2009, and this is the gasoline alley area. And about 99% of the cars in here were donated by one individual. His name is Ron Carey, and we've been fortunate to be gifted with his collection and to share with you. So as you are going forward today, with your discussion of automation and technology in cars. We share with you old-fashioned vehicles. The highlight of this particular collection is the number of trucks and gas pumps that are here. Most trucks were driven into the farm field and left to rust, so there's not a lot of them around, but cars were more likely to be babied. And so Ron Carey went out and really focused on refurbishing large tanker trucks and trucks.
I think we're good.
We think we're good?
I think we're good. I hope we're good.
All right, we'll try it again.
Nope.
All right. Well, too bad.
Can I just
Can you what?
play the sound from here?
Well,
Can you post the video and share a link?
you know what? It's on our YouTube channel, which is
So we'll post it on our
Yeah.
SMByyc feed as well.
yeah. So what I would like you all to do afterwards is take a moment, if you could. It'll take you about 10 minutes. You can either take the stairwell or the elevator down to the very lower level of Gasoline Alley Museum, and you can experience cars of the big and small screen. You can see the DeLorean from Back to the Future, Herbie the Love Bug, the Dracula coffin car from the Munsters. So, thank you very much for this opportunity. I hope you and your families will come back to enjoy everything that we have to offer here at Heritage Park in our 50th anniversary. Thank you very, very much.
One of the things I didn't mention to Heritage Park when I approached them about hosting an event here was that we are literally technology cursed. And we may be social media, we may be on smartphones, we may be online all the time, but we are technology cursed. And I don't know what it is about it, and we actually thought we might lick that one today. And however, we're so grateful to be here. The opportunity to go down and see these cars. I didn't know there was a basement down here, and so I came and met with the ladies, and we walked down there, and it is, I have to say for me, the most impressive one was like when I got back and started thinking about it, was the Flintstones one. It's kind of weird to actually be in the presence of something. Okay, we're going to show a quick video, and I assumed that we were going to say, grab a coffee and whatever, and watch a video. You might just want to sit and watch for, we'll just play a minute or two or something.
Show starts in 8 minutes. Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. To satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go! Show starts in 7 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so the first thing I'll say is that video has zero to do with our presentation. we just got together, Dan and Joel and I got together, we were talking about our topic, and Joel and I got talking about drive-ins. How many people miss drive-ins? How many people know we're not talking about Peters? This used to be the video that we used to see at the drive-ins. And we got talking about it, and within 30 seconds in our new age, Joel had the video up. Dan, I don't think had seen it before. And so we watched it, and we got a giggle out of it and said, we have to share that, give people time to get a coffee and share it. So that was, okay. So now one of the things that I posted is what to answer the question, what on earth does social media have to do with car-to-car communication? And when I think about my parents went to school with a horse and buggy. That's my parents. And they're in their 70s, but it's one generation. When we think about what's happened in one generation, so when you think about horse and buggy, their radius of communication was like 10 miles was huge, right? Most of what they did for entertainment was less than that. When cars came into the picture, it changed how people communicate with each other, because now they could go 100 miles. I mean, we think about 100, we go 100 miles for lunch, and that was amazing, right? And so over time, and cars were by no means the only thing that changed communication, but it was a significant one. But each time something's happened with the entrance of globalization, businesses started communicating with other countries. How cool is that? Well, all of a sudden, the internet comes along and now we are we're communicating with people in a different time zone. I'm a night person. I love talking to people in the UK. They're in the middle of their day, and so am I. And it's amazing how small our world has become. I don't drive vehicles I drive vehicles that keep the energy industry in Calgary, in Alberta going, not ones that have a lot of technology in them. But I don't use OnStar. But cars started talking to us, right? Okay, so that's one thing. And then now voice activated, now we talk to them. Okay, we're actually past that. We are now in past testing of where cars talk to each other. That blows my mind. And as I was watching, so for the last year, 18 months that I've been trying to put together a talk around the auto industry, I've just been thinking about this, how many things have changed. And just thought it would be fun to look at a couple of the things. So we had to, I sat down with Dan and talked with Dan with Macklin Ford, is Wedge Social on Twitter. He's a wealth of resource. He's somebody that communicates about the auto industry, and a lot of you guys know him. Dan, put up your hand. They'll all see you. But we started talking about what we could maybe do for a presentation, and the Back to the Future came, and that's what I pitched to Heritage Park. Had no idea that the DeLorean was sitting in the basement. I just thought it would be cool if we took a look at Back to the Future, and so then Joel, I happened to be in a meeting totally unrelated to this, and found out that Joel is a way past car enthusiast, and he's worked in the industry. And those of you that know him probably know more about that part of him than I do. But we got together and said, okay, what are we going to talk about? So I'm going to hand it over to the guys. We sort of picked 5, I think it's 5 areas that we're going to talk about. 5. There's one that they didn't put on the list, and I'm going to bring it up. Solar-powered roads freak me out. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but I'll hand it over to you guys. Are you're mic'd up and everything?
Yeah.
You're cool? Okay.
Right on.
Take it away.
It's not. We're having a tweet wall pro.
Again, curse.
Okay. Before we start, how about one more round of applause for Heritage Park? Does anybody remember squishing pennies on the track? Yeah? Come on, there's got to be more than that. Let's go. Hey,
Does anybody remember?
don't be shy. It's okay to squish pennies on railroad tracks. Can we still do that? Where's Heritage Park?
Pennies.
Can we still squish pennies?
Find it first.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, the currency has gone up, so we're squishing nickels and quarters. Oh, that's right.
I've got to roll them at home.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so let's get started. I just want to give one more shout out as well to the SMByyc crew.
They're really great.
If you do not know who they are, actually, why don't we get everybody from the SMByyc crew to stand up? Yeah. Make sure you guys introduce yourselves to them. This is a great team of individuals who bring together people such as us on a monthly basis, and we get to meet each other, talk tech, talk social media, etc., etc. So I know for myself, I've been coming to SMByyc for a while. I think out of the 50, I've probably been to the majority of them. I don't know why Donna wasn't getting service in that Cardell Theater. I was. Maybe it was because of her BlackBerry. I don't know. Right? Oh, sorry, BlackBerry fans. But anyhow, we'll get started. I'll let Dan introduce himself.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Dan Wegrzynowski. I'm Wedge Social, hence the Wedge. A little bit about myself. I got into the auto industry about 5 years ago. We got a really good opportunity with Ford. Was not a Ford guy at all in the least bit before then. But you know, I started drinking Kool-Aid, and I'm really excited about the technology they have. I have 2 Ford vehicles now. I've got 2010 Escape, named the Beast. They got that name when my wife unfortunately rolled her old Jeep, and the Escape can't turn even close to what the Jeep could. And then I have a 2012 Focus named Sonic, it's Sonic Blue, and his girlfriend inside talks to me named Rosie. I find that naming a vehicle really brings it home with me, and it builds this relationship, and it's something that, you know, I spend 2 hours a day in a car driving back and forth. It's nice to be able to, you know, pat them on the dash and say good job when they get me out of that tight spot.
Who has a name for their car here? What are some of the names for their cars?
Sasha.
Keanu.
Sasha. Sorry?
Keanu.
Keanu.
Matrix.
Oh. Okay, what are some other names that we have for cars?
Bruce.
Bruce.
It's a vibe after Bruce Wayne. It's got the Batman colorish.
Spot.
Nice.
Spot.
Spot.
Like spot the car.
Spot my car.
What in your car, Rooster? Not to put you on the spot. No? Okay.
Okay.
I heard.
But yeah, so it's really cool to see how people connect to their vehicles, and it's been like that since the beginning of time. Ever since that first vehicle was walked off, rolled off,
Made off, because they know
yeah, whatever they did. But then, you know, like he said, he names his car. I've got names for our cars. I've got Lizzie and Bernadette. So, you know, some of you guys are probably looking at us going, why do you even name your cars? Okay, there's no connection, whatever. Where did Donna go? Okay, no. Myself, I'm Joel Olandesca. I am not in the car industry. However, I do have a history in the car industry years ago. I used to test drive cars and write articles about them. So that's kind of where I came from, and the technology that's inside of cars has just been something that I've always kept myself up to date on and continue to keep myself up to date on. So it was just kind of a really good...
Worked really well.
Yeah, it worked really well when we decided to do that. So can you go back a slide? Just going to quickly go through the topics that we're going to talk about. As Donna mentioned, there are a lot of topics when it comes to cars, technology, and where social media is coming into play in your vehicle, in the cabin of your vehicle. We narrowed it down. We're going to go through these quite quickly because we want everybody to experience all the cars downstairs. So we're going to go through it. If you have a question, please feel free to ask it. But like I just said, we're not going to go through this in major detail. We want to pique your interest so that when you do leave here, maybe you will go onto YouTube and start, you know, taking a look at some of the autonomous vehicles that are out there, how we're interacting with our vehicles nowadays, et cetera, et cetera.
Or they can even ask us afterwards. I'll talk all day about it, unfortunately. So yeah. So the operating systems in the cars.
Yeah, operating systems.
This is really kind of exciting for me. So one of the great things is Google's come out with the Open Automotive Alliance. I'm really excited about that because, hey, it means that the technology people are getting into the cars. And they've got some great partners there. And what I think is really interesting about Google getting into this is they are open source. They don't try and lock it down, make sure that you have all your T's dotted or crossed and your I's dotted before you kind of can get into that like Apple does, or even the Microsoft system we'll kind of talk about. So I think that the opportunity for Google to really get in there and have a lot of hands get in there very quickly and kind of not necessarily get messy, but find out what you can do with the car as a device that runs applications, kind of an extension of your cell phone. I mean, we're pretty much, everyone's running Bluetooth, so you can talk hands-free. And one of the ways I kind of talk about that is just think of it as your car as one of those little tiny earpieces. But now it's starting to move into the watches or, you know, the bigger tablets. I mean, 8 inches is kind of considered small now in some of the vehicles as far as the monitors go.
Right on. So everybody's probably heard of Apple CarPlay. This was announced just very recently, actually, maybe a few weeks ago. So Apple is now entered into the car space. So basically, what they want to do is allow you to use your iPhone in a more safer manner while driving your vehicle. Right? So as we know, a lot of cars these days come with controls, buttons, etc., touch interfaces, whatever it may be. So if you're used to using your phone, your iPhone, once you sit in your car, that basically becomes replicated on your screen, and that allows you to interact with Apple Maps, music, etc., etc. So that's where Apple CarPlay is coming in.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the CarPlay just because it's running on a BlackBerry operating system that's kind of using it as a kind of communication back and forth. And then, of course, the wonderful Microsoft Sync system. It kind of came out in 2007 as a voice communication software that allowed you to talk to your car and have it do voice commands. Since then, they've come into the touchscreen era, and the first one, I will say, was horrible. Just slaggy. It made your cell phone look like it was a supercomputer. Really slow and horrible, but it's now gotten their version 3.6 now. And I get recall notices in the mail because they found a new update. It's horrible language. I think it has something to do with government regulations. But it's not like my car's broken. It just, when I go in for an oil change, they update the software and I get new features, which is kind of cool. So it's definitely kind of one of the systems, but even Microsoft or Ford was talking to BlackBerry just recently. Nothing's been confirmed, but I'm kind of thinking that might have something to do with everyone coming into the open sphere now.
So what we're going to do, we're going to show you, I think, well, in our opinion, what is going to be the ultimate operating system coming into vehicles in the very near future. Some vehicles already have this operating system contained within it. It's called the QNX in automotive system. Let's let the video play.
Dad, you have to see what they're working on. Cars that drive by themselves.
Hello, Samuel.
Not in my lifetime. Can't believe everything you read on the computer.
August the 14th. Agenda shows you're visiting your sister today. There's an accident on Anderson Avenue. Shortest detour adds 10 minutes.
Accept detour?
Shall I inform Sarah you will be late?
Yes.
Translating.
Book appointment for tomorrow at 5:30. Dad, it says here that cars will actually talk to each other and exchange information. But how many potholes are up ahead? Something called autonomous drive. The car will drive by itself. You can do your crosswords.
Sounds pretty wild to me. I guess I'll believe it when I see it.
Hey, sis.
Your car told me you're going to be late. Don't worry, we'll wait for you. Don't forget to call Mom today. It's Dad's birthday.
Right, so QNX, what do you guys think? Freaky, right? Yeah. Very good. Exactly. It does sound like it's exactly something that is out of a sci-fi movie or movies that we watched as youngsters at the drive-in, right?
Some of us.
Some of us. Not Dan.
I knew of Drive, like the concept of it. I saw where they were, but never.
I missed the Drive. Okay, social apps in cars. So, segue into social apps in cars. So we've looked at the operating systems that are currently competing to be in our vehicles these days. Obviously, with the operating systems comes the actual app. So what are you interacting with once you actually step into your vehicle? So we're going to cover a few of those in here. Again, there's a huge number of them. But we're going to cover probably the main ones. Obviously, we want to tie it as much as we can into social media, so that's what we're going to do in here. What you're looking at here is a Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz, part of their operating system, allows you to actually access Facebook in your vehicle. Some of you may have seen this already, some of you may have not. But I don't think it comes to any surprise. I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone that we're now here. With the amount of social media that we use on a daily basis, and the amount of connections that we want to feel and be and do, it just makes sense that vehicles are now going to give us this option.
Yeah. Mercedes kind of had their own operating system before. They've signed up with the CarPlay through Apple, and they are announcing that if you have a car, I think 11 or 12ish, you can actually go back and get it updated to the Apple software when it comes out. So here's kind of another example. These are my favorite auto manufacturers right now. Tesla, they're doing solely electric cars. Had some kind of ups and downs, but seem to be really going forward with Elon Musk as their start. But that's a 17-inch monitor there, fully touch screen. I mean, it's showing you that they're web browsing on that. But the opportunities to personalize that and have it show whatever you want really could be exciting. And I'm kind of excited to see where that's going to kind of go.
Did anybody follow when Tesla, when a Tesla went on fire, and it was all over social media, and it was like kind of the topic of the day because this ultimate electric futuristic vehicle is now on fire?
Yeah. It hasn't happened lately though. I'll give it that. They do seem to be safe, and they can't make them quick enough, so that's kind of a good sign there.
Right on. So, in my opinion, on our phones or GPS, we use mapping apps all the time on our phones. Who used Apple Maps or Google Maps or perhaps another mapping app on their phone to get here today? A number of you did. A few of you did. Everybody else already knew where Heritage Park was. That's good. So everybody's familiar with, not everyone. Those of you who are Apple users will be familiar with what this looks like. So this is Apple Maps. This is what it looks like. So if you type in your search for Heritage Park, it comes up, you can click on it, and it provides you details. Where does the social side of that come into play? You can actually share where you're headed to, or you can share the information about Heritage Park on Twitter or on Facebook. Right? So we're not, previous to this, all we were doing was literally navigating, and now it's become a social, there's a social side that's been added to that.
And then of course there's the Google Maps for everyone else. It's really kind of coming along. There's getting a lot more integration with what your business is showing up. I mean, obviously, Heritage Park, hey, 4.1, that's pretty good.
We're gonna get that to 5.
Yeah, we should. But Google Maps are really great. They're updated. One of the issues that are really happening with vehicles right now is your navigation paths aren't up to date. My car does not have the ring road on it, and my guess is the update might come out this summer, but it's whenever they release the new maps. Whereas if you're able to access the maps on your phone, they're up to date instantly pretty much. And it is getting to the point where if you put in Heritage Park in your phone, as soon as you get into the car, they'll communicate, and it'll just tell you using the car's navigation where you're going. So that's really exciting for me.
At this point, if you click share, the only option that you have is Google+, at least on iOS. So for those of you who are on Google+, you'll get to see when somebody is coming to Heritage Park or wherever it may be. Anybody use Waze in here?
Thank you, it's great for
It's great. So, Waze. This is probably the most social navigation app that's out there right now. If there's another one, correct me if I'm wrong, but I use this every day. As soon as I get in my car, I turn on Waze, I punch in where I'm going, whether I need navigation or not, because of the social capabilities of it. Waze uses crowdsourcing to provide you updates along your drive, right? So, if I searched for Heritage Park last night, according to this picture, it gives me my directions as usual. You can even choose the type of car that you're driving, which is cool. And this is where the social side starts to come in. So if you want to, you can take a look and see, and this is great during rush hour, morning or evening rush hour. You can see where there are alerts happening. Traffic jams, accidents, etc., as you go along. So you can check that before you go. You can adjust your route if you need to, whatever it may be. The next slide here kind of shows you, whoops, here we go. So this is where the social side of things comes into play for Waze. So you can adjust what gets shared to Twitter or Facebook. So for example, I currently have traffic and reports being shared when I hit the alert button. So if I do see something, so if I'm on the Deerfoot and I'm in a traffic jam, I can choose whether that traffic jam is moderate, heavy, or whether it's a standstill. 100% of the time it's a standstill. So I don't really alert anybody about Deerfoot anymore. However, it just kind of shows you how you can alert others using crowdsourcing on this app. And what happens is it will then tweet, if that's how you have it set up, what's happening around you in your city. I've actually had I've had people actually comment and say, hey, thanks for the alert. I'm not on Waze, but I clicked on this link and I just found out that there's a standstill on Deerfoot, whatever it may be. So again, just to kind of wrap up Waze, it's a very social app. It uses crowdsourcing. Google recently purchased Waze, so their mapping is becoming a lot better than it used to be.
Okay. So kind of the other side of it was BMW and their iDrive. They were the first kind of luxury manufacturer to have their own kind of interconnected device. So this has got the iPhone. You plug it right in, and it allows you to go through the BMW apps, Facebook, Twitter, some web radios, and calendars and whatnot. And basically, you can kind of see on the right side there that it's just showing the incoming tweets from the feed. Currently, it is set up so that you have about 10 pre-packaged tweets that you can send out. I know that even through the forward with the text messaging, it's kind of cumbersome. Like, I don't necessarily want to tweet out that, you know, I'm 5 minutes late. Like, I don't necessarily think my community needs to know that. But it's just one step away from being able to just kind of, you know, hit the voice button and say, you know, I have great food at this place, or, you know, there's traffic, or whatever might be kind of coming through your head. I know that I've got an hour worth of driving every day on the way in, and I do a lot of thinking. If I could tweet with my voice, I think that you guys would see me a lot more active between 7 and 8 in the morning. But yeah, so this is just the BMW iDrive. Joel, do you have anything else on iDrive?
No, it's a great system.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is really exciting for me. Who knows what the Nest thermostat is? Oh, wonderful. That's great. Yeah, so what it is a thermostat that will kind of see your usage and basically make your house more efficient by controlling when your temperature comes up. And it basically suits your house temperature to when you're there and to your personal interests. So what's happened with Mercedes-Benz is they've managed to get that car to talk to your house and your Nest system so that you can say, hey, I'm 5 minutes away from the house. Can you bring it up to temperature for me, so that you're not even, you know, waiting to get in the door. You're coming home to a house that's warmed for you, but in the most efficient way possible. So I think we're going to see a lot more integration that kind of comes through there, and I think it's going to be really exciting.
Dan admitted you were just excited about the pizza.
Yeah, okay. One of the other things that's recently come through is AppLink through the Ford system is allowing you to use their voice commands through all the different apps. So one of the first ones that they announced after all of the internet radio stations was Domino's. So what you can do is literally hit the voice button, say, order a double pepperoni with extra cheese, and it'll be at your house for you when you get home. It just goes right through the app, and it's opening up. I haven't seen a lot of other great apps being used yet, beyond the radio ones, but I think that the ability to use the car's voice recognition to start accessing some of your apps will be really exciting as we move forward. Thanks, Don.
That's totally a guy.
Okay, so we're going to move on to, this is kind of nearing the presentation. We titled it To Autonomous or Not Too Autonomous. So, for those of you who are not aware of what autonomous means, it basically means full control. Hands-off, full control of a vehicle or whatever it may be, robots, etc., etc. So, we move to the next slide. Question for everybody. How many of these vehicles are autonomous? Guesses? All? Yeah, so all of these vehicles are autonomous. When it comes to autonomous vehicles, there are 6 levels, 0 to 5. So 5, I'm just going to start at the top. Everybody's aware of the Google car, right? So this Google car's been driving around the US on its own.
Only one crash.
Only one. Wow, one crash.
It was a human driver that was in control of the car when it did crash. That's kind of what the exciting thing is about these autonomous cars. Sorry, I just wanted to toss that in there. It wasn't actually a computer that crashed.
Okay, so 5 is your highest level of autonomy when it comes to vehicles. So that means there's literally no one in that car, and it is driving on its own. So that video we played earlier of the Audi parking itself, that's level 5 autonomy, right? And then it goes backwards from there. So something such as a Cadillac or a Mercedes-Benz that has, or any other vehicle really, that allows you to, or alerts you when you're leaving your lane, that's about level 3. And then level 0 comes down to something as simple as, let's say the Ford Escape, telling you how far you are from backing into something because it has the radar sensors on it. Right? So it goes from 0 to 5. Autonomy in vehicles has actually been around for a number of years. It's just getting to a point where in the next year or two, manufacturers are slowly going to add, I shouldn't say slowly, they're going to quickly add more and more autonomous features into their vehicles.
Actually, the University of Michigan just okayed a $6.5 million test track for autonomous vehicles. So that's coming online here pretty quick. So what this view is here is what's making the autonomous vehicle possible is LiDAR, or actually I don't know what LiDAR stands for. It's laser, anyone in? Wow. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyways,
it's this clunky camera on top.
It's that big funny thing on top. It makes it kind of remind me of like orthodontic gear from way back in the day. But so what you're seeing on the bigger picture there is actually what that LiDAR is bringing back and how the car is quote unquote seeing. So you can kind of see that there's some people on the side there that it sees. It's obviously got its way that it's going through. It's recognized as a vehicle on the other end. And all of that information is about, it's got about 200 feet that it can see in 360 degrees. So you know there's no need for mirrors. It just sees everything, and so it can anticipate a lot more of the incidents that may or may not happen to you. So that's kind of how you're going to get the car actually drive itself. Kind of move into how it sees.
Yeah, so the previous slide kind of showed you where the research is happening in regards to full autonomy, level 5 autonomy. This shows you where level 3, 4 is at right now. So this is what you see in vehicles nowadays. You've got, and each of the colors kind of represents what it's scanning around that vehicle to give the 360 degree presence or awareness of what's happening around that vehicle. So for example, this red area here is basically your side to side and your front collision kind of radar, same as in the back. And then these would be your cameras that actually calculate algorithms, math, blah, 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 and it tells you whether you're going too fast, approaching a vehicle too fast, and it won't automatically apply the brakes, for example. Next slide kind of explains that a little bit better.
Yeah, actually VW's got a vehicle right now they're trying to get through that doesn't have side mirrors. They want to just throw a video camera in there for you, but they're having troubles getting around regulations.
So that whole 360-degree awareness, all the systems that are built into vehicles these days, allows all of this to happen. And this is really where the argument comes in for a lot of groups saying autonomy is not a good thing because we want to have full control of our vehicles still. And then there's the exact opposite side of the spectrum saying full autonomy is actually going to make our world a safer place because computers have been proven to react quicker than the human when it comes to braking, to lane changing, that type of thing. So if the car can take over when it needs to and only when it needs to, that's where the middle group is kind of sitting. Right? So some of these manufacturers are saying, we don't want to give full autonomy to the vehicle. We want to have that 50-50. So, you know, if I turn auto drive on, I still have to keep my hands on the steering wheel. And if I let go of the steering wheel in 10 seconds, it will actually turn that off because it's still because manufacturers still believe that humans still need to have control of their vehicles no matter what.
Right. Just kind of real quickly, I'll just kind of jump to their two slides, kind of do the same. I think that the hardest challenge coming forward is going to be car-to-car communication and having them all kind of get together. It's really hard right now to get manufacturers to agree to a standardization. I think that's the biggest issue with the infotainment systems. You've got Google, Apple, you know, BlackBerry, Microsoft, everyone's in there. If we could just get a standard system, it'd be a lot easier to kind of move through and kind of get something so that everyone can talk to each other and relay that information. And I know that there is hesitation in the industry to not necessarily standardize this because the information that's being shared might show some in a better light than others, I guess, would be the best way to kind of go through.
So we're gonna kind of speed up the last few slides here, but this here is an image of what Regis and Rinspeed, they're both partnering together, is what they're calling the mobile office. So this car you can actually drive. However, let's say you need to have a meeting with some business cohorts or whatever it may be, you can have the car actually drive to your destination on it. So full autonomy, right? Your seats turn around. You can have a little powwow, whatever you need to do. And then when you get to your destination, high fives, ready for a meeting, right? Whatever it may be. So there's your mobile office. We're going to quickly go through the history of how we got to where we are today. And then we're going to end it off with a really cool video that kind of wraps up everything that we've talked about.
Yeah, so basically they kind of got the idea way back in the 30s. Actually, can we do a quick little contest here? Who's fast with their phones? I've got I've got an oil change package, the works package from Macklin Ford to give away. First person to tell me when, what year the vehicle that was made, that was sold by Macklin Ford that lives here.
It lives in Gasoline Alley.
Yeah, Macklin Ford, we've been around since 1917, so there's a vehicle here that was donated, that was originally bought from Macklin. Anyone know what year it was made in?
1922. Tougher question.
Well, I know.
Is it 1929?
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
I need to know.
That's awesome. Perfect. Yeah, in 1929, it was a double A truck. It's immaculate downstairs. I didn't get to see it firsthand this morning, but I can kind of catch them up. So that's awesome. Yeah, thanks. That's good. So yeah, we kind of went to, Herbie was the first one. It didn't talk to you, it just honked its horn, did all kind of crazy things. You probably have more information, Kit.
Everybody knows Kit, right? Yeah. Can you believe we're here? right? With the advent of watches and being able to control your smartphone and talking to your smartphone through your watch, we're here. We're all Michael Knight all of a sudden. If you want to be the Hoff. Right? So imagine the audio video that we played earlier ties into your smartphone, as you saw, which then now ties into your watch. Right? Bernadette, come pick me up. 30 seconds later, Bernadette's in front of me. We are now here. And I remember watching the show as a kid going, that is freaking amazing, right? Like, I can't believe Michael Knight is talking to his car and his car is doing things, shooting lasers and pew-pewing and all that stuff. We're not at pew-pewing yet. I pretend I am sometimes if somebody comes. Anyway, that's KIT, right? That's where we are. That was 1982, so that was a while ago.
I was also surprised to learn that Batman didn't have an automated car until almost the 90s.
In 1989,
with all that technology, I think they would have been able to figure that out. And then kind of coming down real quick, the Minority Report had the fully autonomous vehicles. They all kind of just drove wherever they wanted. I don't even think there was steering wheels in those ones. And then also, I just want to mention the DARPA competitions. Massive competition that mainly universities and tech teams get into, and they're trying to drive a car, I think it's 10 miles through really, really rough terrain. And they've had some success, a couple have made it, but the times are coming down from 14 hours to a couple of hours.
Okay, so that just kind of gave us a quick history of kind of where Hollywood played a role in terms of where we're getting to and the history of cars, et cetera, et cetera. This video wraps everything up in regards to what we just talked about. Just can you plug this, unplug the sound? Gotcha.
We're going to do the video without sound, and I will call out door prizes. And so watch the video, watch your number, think we can do two things at once. And we'll, if you win a prize, you just walk to the table, Catherine's at the back, Melanie's probably going to help her, and you guys can, we're very grateful for the donation, so the only thing I will ask you is when you pick a prize, make very sure that one of the girls knows who you are and which prize you took, okay? So we can do the proper thank yous, etc. Okay?
Right on. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Does everyone have a ticket?
Oh, yeah.
Is anyone not missing a ticket?
Okay. 994893. 893. Okay. 994899. And girls, tell me when ladies, can you let me know how many I'm supposed to pull? 994847. Can I ask, does everybody start with 994?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. 809. Oh. So did we have somebody for the 847? Did somebody win 847? Okay, 809. Okay. 910. 871. Oh, this is really cool. Like, this comes straight from the movies. This stuff gets me, right? You know, you can do things in the air. I want a car like that. 871.
Don't tell my kids.
898. 898. Okay. 861. 844. Terry, are you not mixing them up enough?
I'm just pieces for the trust.
That's always scary with Terry. 8112. All right. Okay. 903. Okay, guys, come for 907.
I know, I'm like.
894. Okay, I trust you guys are here. You're going to pick up your thing. 834. We'll post this video. This is actually a really cool video, and I can tell you guys are all looking at your numbers. So you should check out this video. We'll post it on a link to the YouTube video. Texas Instruments did a really good job with this. A round of applause again to Dan and Joel. It was so much fun putting this together. Dan laughed at me because I came to our first meeting with a 200-page document of stuff that I found. A lot of it at Consumer and Electronics Show. They did so much auto stuff this year, and so coming down to like 4 things was so hard. Now Dan's telling me this, and he has such a calm voice, and he's describing to me how in the future we will drive a car and the windshield wipers will move and they will be able to tell the density and the velocity of the rain, and that data is being tracked in our car, and that will go to some meteorological site somewhere, and someone will announce, "Holy Hannah, there's hail happening in this one block of whatever." It's just really crazy. And the other one is solar-powered roads. And I've heard from a few of you guys now. Sean, Sandra, her send me some links, and Brent Gilmore has been telling me all about it. They are actually making, picking up, do I have to do one more? Sorry, 822. They are actually doing, putting heat into solar-powered roads. They are working on the glass right now that will be able to handle triple tractor trailers, so like some of the heaviest units on the road, but they are physically doing this now. Can you imagine driving down the road and you see messages on the road and you're wondering, oh, what did they say? Oh, well, your computer screen in your car tells you 5 miles ahead there's a gas station, 2 miles ahead there's an accident, or whatever, where all of that kind of stuff it's crazy, and it's happening. Right now they say that if they picked up every piece of asphalt in the United States, replaced it with solar power roads, that they would actually be a net addition to the grid. They could actually reduce what they put in generation stations by doing solar powered roads. How cool is that? That's going to happen. I might not be alive. I wish I would be, but like Heritage Park, I turned 50 this year, so probably not. So you know what? A big shout out again to Heritage Park. This has just been absolutely fabulous. You have to go down and see the cars. And one more time for Dan and Joel. It was so much fun doing this with you. It was a dream come true for me. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys all coming.